The gimbal isn't the only UAP that appears to defy the laws of physics. 2013, just after dark at the airport in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. U.S. Customs and Border Control captured this video of an oddly behaving object.
It looks like the object is traveling quickly. It looks like it's disappearing into the water and coming out of the water, disappearing again, coming out, and splitting into two and kind of disappearing completely. Enthusiasts will point to that and say that is evidence of warp drives or interdimensional drives, and that it's transmedium because it's going in and out of the water. What do we see?
But could there be another reason that's more down to earth?
So let's do this as a controlled experiment.
Engineer Josh Semeter enlists the help of Sean Kirkpatrick, former director of Arrow, to cook up an idea. Can they recreate this disappearing act in the lab?
That sounds like
with a knife, spoon, and fork,
well, we already did that. What do you see?
and 2 surrogate UFOs.
What I thought we'd try to use to do this is an infrared sensor. It just clips on like so.
They set it up on a tripod. Take a look and see absolutely nothing.
We're not seeing anything at all in these objects.
Sean takes the spoon and fork, along with one of the UAP surrogates, and puts them in a cooler.
For just about, what do you think, Josh? Second, 10 seconds?
Yeah, it doesn't take long. I'd say 10 seconds. It's more than enough.
About 10 seconds later, give or take,
All right, let's take them out and see what they look like. And that, right back where they were. And what do we got?
Well, there's 3 objects there.
Wow, that's pretty stark.
we can see the fork and spoon along with one of the UFO surrogates.
And
I don't see the other 2,
cannot find the other 2.
but they are clearly there.
But over the next few minutes, they gradually disappear again. The question is, why?
There is a tendency for objects that are at different temperatures, when they're in contact, to eventually reach the same temperature as one another.
It's not a magic trick. For an object to show up in infrared light, it must be a different temperature than objects it is in contact with. So, when the fork and spoon exchanged thermal energy with the table, thermal equilibrium is reached, making them invisible in infrared light. And that brings us back to the disappearing objects in the Puerto Rico video, which were also captured with an infrared sensor.
As the object becomes the same either temperature or irradiance as the background, you won't be able to see it. It'll become nearly invisible, and it looks like it disappears.
After months of carefully analyzing the video, scientists think they have an answer.
We think they're 2 birds. Then when they get close to the water, the effect on the sensor kicks in where it's having a hard time distinguishing the contrast between the background and the birds. And they look like they disappear, and then they reappear because the reflectance changes, and then they separate, and then it looks like they land in the water.
This demo doesn't capture all the conditions of this sighting, but Sean and Josh believe that shifts in temperature and reflection might explain the apparent disappearing act.
I am satisfied with that explanation because that's how a scientist speaks with respect to some phenomenon that's not known. We don't speak in certainty. So, for instance, if one were to say, that is either 2 birds flying over the ocean, or it is a alien anti-gravity technology exhibiting transmedium characteristics, I choose the bird explanation